Hey guys, we're on day 18 of the Chameleon build. We've only got a couple of days left, and as you can see, there's still lots to do. Today, I'm getting the legs done. I finally figured out how I want to do them, so I'm just gonna get started welding up because I really don't have any time to lose. Obviously we've done a few already, but now we need to prep all the different sections like this. If you watched yesterday's episode, I basically said that I was going to use long and long for the legs, short and short for the arms. At the moment we've got two short ones and only one long one sort of set up in this whole like base section, so I need to do the same and then start making sure these are all really strong all the way through. So let's get started. Okay, so now these are all attached together, but pretty weakly, which means I need to get them stronger. We're done with the gluing now though, which is good. We can just, done with gluing until we get to these guys, but done with the gluing for now. I also just realized I don't think I have enough washers like this to actually, well, that's gonna be a problem, but I guess it's one that I'll have to figure out a bit later. Perhaps I'll just do it at one end and then weld between. Yeah, in fact, that is what I'll do. I'll just weld from there to there. Now, I've got these parts here, which are really cool. And I think I'm gonna use on the leg sections. Obviously, it's a bit longer than I ideally want it, but I think that will be a useful point to sort of weld to other structures anyway. Tell you what, these metals are not very keen on joining together, that's for sure, which is not a great thing, obviously. You might have more luck down this end. Yeah, so it's welding fine down here, which means that it's this metal piece here that's going to be giving us the trouble. There usually always is something, you know, why make it easy, but we should be able to get it strong even without easy welding onto here. Just have to put a bit more effort in. See if increasing the power makes things better or worse. Debatable whether that helped or not. Now, I've made a mistake here, I can tell on this part. These holes are meant to line up with these channels. They don't. Which is fine, but it's just a bit annoying. It's not going to look as good as it should have. So that's, but nothing we can do about it now. I've already done too much welding on this piece to kind of sort that out. Okay, so apparently I didn't actually turn my mic on, and it's been almost a year since I actually filmed this, but what I'm explaining is that I added another washer on top of the one that wasn't welding properly. This just made it easier to get a strong weld at the end of each leg joint. You also might remember me worrying about running out of welding electrodes, as I use these special ones that aren't very easy to get where I live. I'd figured that I'd have just enough to get the piece finished, until this one completely split, meaning it's totally unusable and I now have a quarter less electrodes. This unfortunately will become quite important later. This isn't brilliant. This whole structure just fell apart. Oh God, what was that? Another piece of it just fell off. Things like this is why it's really important to make sure you've got it welded together and sort of pinned on these sides like what I'm doing, because obviously, if this can happen now, it can happen at any point. I'll get this put back together and then we should be okay. I'll probably put a bit of glue in here to make sure it stays together better. Hopefully this doesn't happen with the other ones. Right, yeah, we need to get this pinned and welded together. So let's just try and do that really quickly. Yeah, that's good now. It's sort of pinned between the two, so shouldn't be fully apart again. Okay, so we've got frameworks welded up on all four of our like main limb sections. The forearm pieces and like the lower leg pieces, we haven't done that yet because first we're going to build those basically by attaching them. So what we need to do is now figure out the angles between all of these parts, which I'll do by putting them up on the actual body. And then once we've got that sorted, then we can start welding those together. Okay, so for this one, I think that we've got a pretty good angle here. Now, the difficult thing is working out how do I now move this over to the welding setup so that I can keep this angle and actually fix it in place. Not going to be easy to do. I think what we might try and do is actually just hold it. I take that back, I've figured out how we're gonna do it. So what we're gonna need to do is just super glue one nut in here to hold the angle, and then we can use that as our sort of focus point for all the actual welding. I'm gonna leave that to dry for a second and then we'll be able to transport it over and get that fixed properly. Sometimes if you get a bit too much glue on the actual area, then it's not going to bond properly because it gets almost a bit too gummed up. So I'm just taking some off now. And let's try this again. Okay, so that's working better now that I've cleaned it up, but let's not jump the gun. Just really make sure we've given it enough time to actually dry properly. Okay. We've got this position, we need to get it welded up as quickly as we can now. Okay. Okay, we should have some more luck with these slightly bigger nuts. Hopefully, at least. Okay, while that's drying, we're just gonna leave it there and make sure it gets nice and strong before we try and transport it over again. In the meantime though, we can start doing the same process on the other side so that we've got two drying at once, basically. Where the hell is that one gone? Okay. Ooh. I'm pretty happy with that positioning. I've checked it like fits with the head. So let's go start getting this glued up. I'm on a bit of a time deadline because I've got a party that I'm meant to be going to in about an hour. So I really need to start making some headway on these legs. At these angles, this one isn't working quite as well as on the other side, which means I've got to rethink slightly. We're going to leave that. I'm just going to assume that it's gluing in place and then we'll just work on a leg while it dries, and hopefully it doesn't need to be amazing, it just needs to be enough that I can literally get it across the table. That is all we are looking for. So this is quite different to the other ones because it's at a much sharper angle, whereas these have like gentle curves. This is a big, there's also a lot less that I can do in terms of propping up here. Yeah, that wasn't very secure, was it, Zach? Oh God. How had we done this before? We basically just, oh God. Oh, this is so stressful. Okay, let's try this again. I think that's what we want. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good in terms of how I want it. Ooh, that sounds like things are slipping though. Yeah, it wasn't quite right actually. It wasn't in like the middle enough. Brilliant, now we've got this random nut super glued on that I probably can't do anything about. I feel like this one I'm actually just gonna have to hold it like this for God knows how long. No, 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 no. Oh, thought that was going quite well, obviously. I was wrong as usual. I think I've made the same mistake here where I've just gummed it up with a bit too much super glue that now it just doesn't want to work. To be honest, this one I could probably just hold in place. I don't know if I even, okay, maybe not. I was going to say I don't know if I even need to actually have it waiting there, but maybe I do. Let's try this. No, that's the wrong one. If I can just hold this for long enough, keep thinking we're getting somewhere, it feels like it's got stronger, but then as soon as I actually relax my grip, I realize that it's entirely me doing that and none of the actual strength is sort of coming from this super glued joint. It's all just coming from my hands. I think I'm gonna just lay this down, not on the piece, but try and keep it in the same position. I'm pretty sure I maintain the same position, so it should just be able to dry a little bit better here. And actually, do you know what? I think I'm gonna just try and weld this now. Should be able to do something at least. Yeah, we can definitely do this. That is our first little bit of welding on these legs. Now, obviously this is like nowhere near strong enough to actually hold and support that joint, but it's just like a bit of a start. I think I'm still gonna leave this one here just to try and dry and strengthen a little bit more. All right, we'll try and add one more point of strength here. Let's see if now, we may have welded one side, but we lost the other. I'm gonna quickly get this welded back. Okay, we have our first limb semi-strengthened. I'm just gonna chop the excess off here. Hopefully that doesn't break the weld that we just made. All right, so now I need to go and see if it actually fits with the angle that I had before over on the actual piece. Okay, did we manage to keep it consistent? Time to find out. Yeah, I'd say that's what we were looking for, give or take. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that actually. That'll work nicely. Feels a bit precarious. Oh, yeah, that'll be. It's not identical to the angle that we had before. It's slightly tighter in, I'd say. So the leg used to go out more like that. It's now a bit of a more acute angle, but I don't think that's actually necessarily a bad thing. It might make it slightly harder to attach it to here. I really don't want this full, but I want to check what it looks like, and I can't do that if I'm holding it. Oh, I'm just gonna check. Please don't fall, please don't fall. Yeah, okay, that looks really cool. That's a good angle. From the other side, you can see it a little bit. Yeah, it looks like he's properly clambering on. What does it look like from over here? Yeah, good still. All right, that's good. So that's one down, but still needs to be like strengthened, obviously. I'm gonna take it off now before it falls, but we can take that away and work on getting it stronger next. Now I'm gonna take this one off. Hopefully it's dried. And now we'll see if the other one comes off as well. This one I have not as high, okay. That has worked too. Ooh, it's going. I need to get this laid down quick. This one's really weak, so it's what I'm gonna strengthen first. I think these should be a bit easier to do than the last leg because the angles are slightly better for making connections, but obviously I've been wrong before. Nope, so I cut that completely wrong. Is that any better? This will be where I've gone too short. We're just gonna do it like that, slight angle. This one is so delicate, it's really not like glued together at all. Okay, that is, I mean, barely together, but probably enough that I can just turn it over and repeat the process on this side, which, oh shoot, tiny bit shorter on here, and that should be good. Let's get this welded. Obviously, need to connect that up. Also, thank God for this magnifying lens, otherwise I don't know what I would do. Come on, please weld. I think we've got that. That's all right on both sides now. I'm not going to risk. Oh, maybe I am. Okay, all right, yeah. I don't know why I'm whispering, but it kind of does feel like if I say anything loudly, this whole thing's gonna fall apart. But there we go. Okay, we have very basic structure of 2. Now I'm going to move this one, and now I think this will be the easiest to do out of them because it's actually quite strong. This one like glued up a lot better than the others did. How will we connect it though? Probably to there. Yeah, that works nicely. That actually fits. I think I could probably do with a sharpened electrode, which I can't be bothered to do a lot of the time, but I think it's silly to not. For this, it's just going to be more work. But yeah, I've sharpened the electrode, so let's go on and weld this. Right, this is the last leg that we need to actually get in place. It is going to be the hardest one because I can't really rest it anywhere like I could the others, but better just get going. Oh God. Oh. So this one was really difficult to do, mainly because there's not a good way to like leave it without holding it for it to dry. So what I've done is I've just used a bit of wire, basically jerry-rigged a little system that should hold it in place long enough to get reasonably strong, I hope. It's a really tricky angle, and to be honest, I think the way that I've got it at the moment is gonna create some like future difficulties down the line in terms of how we'll weld it together, but it takes too long to get like the perfect angle for this with the glue, so I think I just need to leave it like that, start strengthening these guys while it dries so that we're not just wasting time. I've left this for like half an hour, actually been working on the other leg, just getting that a bit stronger, so that's well on its way to actually being pretty good. Hopefully this has at least somewhat glued itself in place and we'll be able to remove it without doing too much damage to everything. Let's see what this feels like. Okay, I really should have untied this first. We're in one piece, I'm gonna take it over and get this welded quick. Oh, obviously. The amount of times that I forget to actually connect anything together happens a lot more than it should. One weld on. I think I've managed that. Let's have a look through the microscope and find out whether it's a decent weld or not. I haven't actually got it joined quite yet. Again, it's because this electrode just isn't sharp enough, but I'm gonna cheat around that and just whack the power up really high. Okay, full power because this just isn't working at all. All right, that's one welded point on. I wanna get one more at least, and then I'll be happy that this isn't going to fall apart completely. Right, we're going to change the electrode, get it sharper. I'm really worried about these electrodes. I do think it's going to be a pretty big problem actually. It's one of those ones where I can't do anything about it, but it's just going to cause me a load of stress until the piece is done, and hopefully it all works out fine. Because if I suddenly stop being able to weld, I have literally no idea what I'll do. Yes, that's one of the problems of using specialised equipment. It puts you at a disadvantage because you can't just pop into the shop and grab what you need. Okay, 4 welded legs. I think I'm going to do one more on this one. Let's do it. Might not be the perfect angle, but while I'm here, I might as well put a couple more connections in. I'm not doing anything particularly fancy, just quick and dirty welds. Yeah, that was too quick and too dirty. It didn't work at all. Right, there we go. Sort of done, sort of a terrible angle, but sort of don't care. I'm just happy that we have 4 legs. So these are all of our legs. I'm gonna probably position them each onto the actual piece now, just so that we can see what they all look like together. There we go. I'm pretty happy with this. I like the layout. This arm right here, I'm not actually sure about. I think it should be a sharper angle almost. Potentially I might redo that one. It's only weakly bound together, but maybe I'll just leave it as is, who knows. But yeah, so all of these limbs just basically need to be built up, strengthened, coated in a little bit of metal, and then it should be actually quite easy, I hope, to add them to the rest of the body. And that's when we're gonna get all of the details going and just really make this pop with some colors, some circuit boards. The head does need a little bit more work, and then the last really big thing to do is the tail, but I'm hoping that the tail won't take too long. It's going to be reasonably simple. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We really are on the home stretch. I've only got 2 full days left, and then a half day after that, and then it's due. So we're really just going to have to push and try and get a ton done, because there is still lots and lots to do. But thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. All of it really helps me out, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. So see ya.